Welcome to the latest edition of Music That Left Its Mark. Tonight I am really excited and pleased to be joined by two members of iC1s, a post-punk, post-indie, post-Britpop, post-everything, I think you said, Dan, band based in London. We've got Dan who's on vocals, and we've got Jesse who is on guitar. Good evening, guys, and thanks for joining me.
Hello, mate.
Thank you very much.
I'm good, thank you. You're both well?
Yes, good.
I mean, I'm actually unwell. I've got a cold, and I'd like to tell everyone on the internet about it.
Always moaning.
Yeah,
He did mention that before we started recording, that he had a bit of a cold, bless him.
Yeah, so apologies if I start sneezing.
That's all right, mate. As long as we can't catch it down the internet, that's
true. Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about iC1s.
Dan, do you want to start?
No, I'll let Jesse take this one. You write all the bios.
That's true. What story will I make up today? So I actually met Dan in a pub. I was working in a pub, and we have a mutual friend called Leon, who actually later was in iC1s, but way before that, he came up to me one day in the pub and said, "Oh, I know this guy. He's more cocky than you. I think you should meet him." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever," just like wheel him out. Who is he? So then he introduced me to Dan, and within sort of about 10 minutes, we kind of like just were best pals. And Dan, I think, was trying to put the band together at that point. I don't know if Dan had actually started.
I think I had the band already. I had two different guitarists at that time.
Yeah, and then Dan just sort of put me in the band, and I don't even think he told the other members of the band, because when I turned up for the first rehearsal, I sort of turned up to the pub with my guitar and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, you must be the drummer in the band." And he was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "I'm Jesse, I'm the new guitarist." And he was like, "No." He's like, "I've never even heard of you." So Dan basically put me in the band without anyone really knowing.
I brought you in so they could teach you the songs, so then I could sack them.
And then we could sack them off, yeah.
That's the plan.
And when was that? That was probably 2010.
A while ago.
Probably 2010. And then we took it from there. Really, there was a couple of line-up changes after that. Obviously, the guys who were in the band took one look at me and were like, "No thanks," and they left probably. And then John came in not long after I joined, and then that's the kind of final five of the band.
Yeah, I mean, it should be mentioned that Andy on drums and Jacob on bass are kind of founding members.
Okay.
These guys just came along later on.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Cool. So we'll come back to the band in a little while, because obviously the idea behind the podcast is we talk about songs that left its mark on people, things, music that kind of matters to you guys. And I'm guessing, looking at some of your choices, I'm guessing there's potentially some inspiration here. Although I have got questions,
Cool.
but we'll get to there. So Dan, we'll start with you, I think, if that's all right, Dan, because I've got you on at the top of the list for some reason. Don't know why.
It makes total sense, don't I?
So your first choice, you excellent choice for your first one out of the blocks. Some might say by Oasis.
I'm trying to remember what my list was. It's probably changed about 3 times since I said that.
I'll remind you as we go through, mate, don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, some might say Oasis. Oasis are probably my favourite band, and probably the reason why I'm in a band to start with. And this is my favourite song of theirs. It's an important song in history because it was Oasis' first #1, and it stopped Take That from getting to #1. And if Take That had got to #1, they would have beaten the Beatles' record of consecutive #1s. So nobody wants that, do they?
I thought you were going to say you'd have been a Take That fan if Take That had got to #1.
I actually don't mind Take That, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But E17, they were the band of the day then.
I mean, if we had ended up in either of those bands, I'd probably still be quite happy.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. E17, yeah, of all the boy bands, I think E17 would probably have to say is the one.
And I reckon I could do 3 Jacket Potatoes in one go. Run myself over as well.
Yeah.
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, very good. Yeah, try not to do that, man. That would.
No, I probably couldn't eat 3 of them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
1.5.
So in terms of Oasis being your favourite band, some might say, well, would you say that's your favourite Oasis song, or?
Yeah, yeah. I'd probably say so. I mean, I've seen them live so many times, and it's probably one of the songs that they never play live. But when we went to that reunion show, they played it there. It's just a great song, man. It gets me going. I mean, it's a great album, so it's hard to pick a favourite song off that album, but I'm going with that one.
Yeah, yeah. I made it to Heaton Park last year, and yeah, amazing gig. Electric, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Take me back.
Took me back to my youth, especially the bit where the cup of piss came flying over my shoulder at 15
Oh, sorry about
seconds.
that, mate. I weren't going to queue up for the toilet.
15 seconds into the first song, and I just got this wet patch down my shoulder. I thought, magic, I'm at an Oasis gig. Yeah, okay, cool. Interesting for a guy from London, because your second choice, another.
Are we doing all 5 of mine in one go, are we?
Yeah, if that's all right, mate, we'll just.
Yeah, no, go on, crack on then.
Yeah. So the second one you gave me on your list, if you can remember, I Know It's Over, the Smiths, another Manchester band.
Oh, there'll be a theme here. I mean, I can't even really name any great London bands apart from iC1s, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know it's over. I suppose, in a way, I've always known the Smiths. The Smiths have always been there, but I kind of didn't really do a deep dive into them until probably about 6, 7 years ago. And I was working in the hospital in Ealing, and it was during the pandemic. And I bought myself one of those electric scooters, so I didn't have to take the bus. And I just had my headphones on, and and then that song came on, and I just remember, I felt like it must have been the first time I'd heard it. I was listening to The Queen Is Dead, and I just stopped, and I was on the bridge, and it was like over a canal, it was kind of perfect. I had to rewind the song. It's just fucking awesome, man. I just don't know how you come up with those sort of lyrics. Mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head. That's fucking deep. But in a way, like people find the Smiths depressing, but I find them uplifting. I flip that around.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I'm of an age. I was there first time round with the Smiths, and they passed me by until later in life. But like I am very much a lyrics person.
Yeah, that's it.
When you listen to I mean, there's no other word for Morris. He's a poet. The lyrics that the guy writes are just,
Yeah, it's just how the hell do you come up with some of those things, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's brilliant.
So I can really get behind that as well, which is good. And then we changed speed a little bit. Purple Rain.
Yeah, again, it's probably somebody that I got into quite late, but I'm a little bit obsessed at the moment with things like watching live videos of him, finding new live videos of him and stuff. It's just fucking the geezer's an absolute genius. I think you've noticed that all 3 that I've picked so far are pretty much geniuses. And so yeah, if I've gone down the pub, it's likely these days when I get home, I've got Prince on YouTube full blast. And I wasn't sure if we were gonna be playing these songs as we were talking about them.
No, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that. Due to
And I just thought, well, yeah, that's what I realised. And then I thought an 8 minute song would just give me a nice break. But yeah, but no.
Unfortunately, due to the change in PRS with podcasting, we can't do that anymore.
If that's the case, we would have been playing all our songs straight through. So.
Well, there is that as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be asking you to talk about other people's songs. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Prince is just fucking genius. I mean, when you grow up, you just see this kind of feminine type geezer singing songs, but when you actually look into it, he's just like the greatest guitarist you've ever seen. And not just that, Jesse's actually named after him. And what's your full name, Jesse?
Oh no, it's not edited, this podcast, is it? So once I say it, it's out there. So my full name is Jesse James Prince Nelson Watts, which is ridiculous.
I don't even have one middle name, you know?
Yeah, it's preposterous, really.
It's a rock star name, is what it is.
It is a fucking rock star name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my dad sort of cursed me with that name. Well, it's my mum and my dad as well. The Jesse James comes from when my mum lived in America.
Okay.
In the late 60s, and then my dad just sort of, just gave me the Prince thing. He's also a bit of a historian, my dad, and he likes Admiral Nelson for beating Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. So he was like, well, this works, because Prince's name is Prince Nelson Rogers, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So he was like, right, well, this is what we're doing. So
Live with
here I
me.
am. It only got cool when I was about 17. It wasn't cool up until that point. But when I started playing guitar, suddenly it sort of worked, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So just call yourself Prince.
Yeah.
Like anything, when Prince died, it's now worth more, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely. But yeah, I can get
fighting.
behind the fact the guy was a genius, and like yourself, Dan.
oh,
As
another
much
genius. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
as,
Appreciate that.
very good. As I've kind of researched him a little bit more and kind of, some of other artists that I listen to, and they've got nothing to do with Prince, and then when you start looking at them, you realise that he wrote some of the music and produced some of the music, and he was involved in it, and you think, wow, that's like, it wasn't as if his own back catalogue of stuff wasn't enough.
Exactly. And
And
apparently there's like I don't know the exact figure, but he's got like a vault of hidden music that will keep us going with albums for years to come. I think
yeah,
they gave Dr. Dre some access to that, and he released like a little album of mixes and stuff. I
Really
think that didn't happen, or I dreamt it.
possible.
no,
No, it happened.
we'll have to research that.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm sure I heard somewhere something about some new music from Prince, and you're like, when you hear it on the radio when you're driving the car, and you think, how? But then obviously, you hear the stories that there's stuff that's not been released, and I think Bowie's the same, isn't there? There's a little bit of a cache of music just sat there waiting to be drip fed.
Similar artists, though, isn't it? Like, two geniuses, then.
Yeah, I was going to say on genius creativity levels, absolutely, yeah.
Me, Bowie, and Prince. Yeah. What's the next song?
Yeah, again, step change, and do you know what? You can usually age people from their song choices, but I'm struggling to place you guys.
Good.
Everybody wants to rule the world. Tears for Fears,
Oh, fuck yeah.
which is a tune.
Probably the best song of the 80s, isn't it? Let's be honest with ourselves. It is a great song.
I could get into an argument with you about that, but
I won't argue with you, Michael. It's the
I
best song.
don't even think it's their best song, to be fair. But it is a good
No,
song.
no, it's weird, but the album "Song from the Big Chair,"
Yeah,
that's got to be up there in the top three of the best albums of the 80s, man.
You're
Along with
having a
Purple
real-
Rain and The Queen is Dead.
my
They're all on my list.
my wife she would side with you there. Songs for the big chair, for sure.
Dan's having
Yeah, I
a
just think,
Tears for Fears kind of phase at the minute, where it's being played at every opportunity possible, and I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. But after the Manchester show, at sort of 5 in the morning, someone was singing a Tears for Fears album, start to finish, outside the window. Dan claims it wasn't him, and I just don't believe him.
it wasn't
It's
me.
too much of a coincidence for you to be in this knee deep in Tears for Fears, and yet someone is outside the hotel room at 5 a.m, which is something he would do.
No, because I was asleep by then. I didn't even hear it. So I don't know
Really?
whether you were dreaming it. Yeah, I was
I
long
mean, it's possible you've played it so much that I was actually.
Just a
I
bit
probably
lucid.
wouldn't even be able to recite the whole album. Just the hits.
Mm.
Just the hits, yeah. But yeah, no, a very good album, a very good choice. And again, a bit of a resurgence coming from them as well. They're doing bits and pieces, touring again, and still quite big in America, aren't they?
Yeah, I saw something of them that they definitely look older now. I wouldn't have recognised them if they walked past me on the street.
We
I saw
all
them do
know
like a
that.
live version. Yeah, I saw them do a live version recently of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. They were touring. Me and my mate Michael McCann, we were going to try and get tickets, but it all sold out. So maybe they'll come back around again.
Yeah, cool. And your last song,
I think
In
I
My
remember
Life.
this one.
In
Yeah.
My Life, the Beatles.
Well, any top five, any musical top five should have a Beatles song in it, as far as I'm concerned. Looking at Jesse's, I think you kind of failed that, didn't you? No Beatles song in there for you.
I think the assignment was music that left its mark, right?
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah,
don't-
so in my life, I mean, especially with the Beatles, you know, you can have your own top five with the Beatles themselves. Favorite Beatles song changes all the time, but I think in my life will always be like one, like a kind of leaves a little fucking break in your voice. Quite an emotional song.
Yeah,
Getting emotional
yeah,
thinking about it. But
and it's
it's very
it,
deep. And I think John
yeah,
Lennon
and
wrote it when at 25 years old. So it's kind of like to be that young and write about so much experience. Yeah, it's proper good tune that one, man.
yeah, I was recently just before Christmas. I was at a funeral of a very very dear friend of mine, and his son, who I've known pretty much all his life. They chose the music, and they chose uh, um, "Here, There, and Everywhere" by the Beatles,
Mm.
which was a song I wasn't familiar with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Great track.
but obviously, the day was quite emotional. And when I came away, I did what I do, and I went and found the song and I listened to it. And when I listened to the lyrics, it kind of, and his son Mark explained to me why he picked the song, and it is kind of about growing up and like being older and then obviously moving on. It just broke me, and I just when I think about I I'm famous for saying that the Beatles were overrated in my opinion. I always rephrase that by saying I think John Lennon was overrated.
Oh, these are two big statements.
But
Oh
I
mate,
think
I feel like the
the
connection's going here, Michael.
no, but
It's like the best Beatle.
I'm big enough to say that I've rethought my position on that.
Okay.
And when you like you say when you think at the age these guys were when they wrote some of these songs, and the
Yeah.
lasting impact it's had,
Of course, we get to look at the Beatles in hindsight, don't we? When
yeah,
when it was happening and stuff. Like they were younger. They, I think George Harrison was 27 when the Beatles broke up. That's kind of mad, isn't it?
yeah.
And
I think that they did all of that, at so
it
young.
was all done. I think from the first album to the last album, it was 6 years.
Yeah,
That's
which is cracking.
13 albums.
Yeah, and when you
Three, I
think that
think 3 movies as well, and world tours and all that. It's fucking crazy.
there's new artists today still inspired and kind of looking at the Beatles for inspiration. That's
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely. I don't think we're the only ones. I think that'll happen forever. People being
yeah,
inspired by the Beatles. I mean, I'm jealous of anybody that hasn't discovered the Beatles because I can never discover the Beatles for the first time again. Like that was just.
yeah,
I just remember the time just finding all this Beatles stuff. It was just fucking amazing.
yeah. My favourite Beatles song has always been "Lucy in the Sky," and I remember the first time I heard it just blew my mind. I think I was about 12, and it just blew my mind. Just the lyrics and just and, I know there's all the it was the kind of the LSD years and everything, but it was just amazing. It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
it's
I
a
mean. In those
shame.
6 years, they went through so many different stages, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They went
And
like the
it
Mop
is.
Top Superstar, Sergeant Pepper, and then all the like the Let It Be, Abbey Road.
Yeah, I think we were chatting on Instagram somebody mentioned about a top five of the Beatles. That's another episode. That
Oh, and don't ask me in advance either, because we change by the
yeah.
time we are.
No, we'll just go on and we'll just talk. We'll do top 10 of the Beatles and we'll just riff about it because it's
Top 10,
like you
that's
say,
fair.
you're right. It is that stuff that changes all the time. It's like your stuff for me at the moment, but
Oh,
we'll
nice
come back to
segue,
that.
nice segue, Michael.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, let's get to Jesse top
Yeah,
five.
let's get to Jesse. So
Let's hear
Jesse
it.
Jesse and I are probably very similar in music taste, oddly
Oh,
enough.
here we go. Love him.
So,
Shall I leave you guys to it?
If you wouldn't mind, Dan, dim the lights.
well, so your first song, Jesse, "Blue" by Nirvana.
Yeah. So my sister is 4 years older than me. So by the time I sort of turned 13, 14, she was cool. She was at college and she was listening to music and she used to make me mixtapes. I mean, obviously I knew who Nirvana were anyway, but it was at that point I think she made me a mixtape and it had that track on it. And I immediately went out and bought that album from the local and only record shop in Harrow, a place called Jammin' with Edwards, and was just completely obsessed with it. And I know it feels weird with that album as well because obviously everyone knows that Nevermind is the album, But for me, that first record will always be better because of the impact that it had on me when I was a kid, you know, when I was 13, 14. And yeah, the opening track, just the way it comes in, the bass, just everything. I just like, even now I listen to it and I can just, it gives me shivers. Like it's just brilliant.
I think that album cost something like $900 to make.
Yeah, and Jason Everman, the sort of other guitarist, although not officially, paid for it, didn't he?
Yeah, and then
I don't know if you know much about Jason Everman's story, but he was in Nirvana briefly. He's on the cover of that album, Bleach. He was in Soundgarden very briefly, and then he joined the army, and he was a US Marine and still is today, I think. So he was out, you know, you can imagine him sort of out fighting in Iraq or wherever. Maybe some of the soldiers are listening to Nirvana and him turning around and saying, I used to be in this band. And everyone would be like, shut up, mate. No, you didn't. But he did. You know, he was. And I think that's it. I mean, I think he did a TED talk on it. It's an amazing story. Sort of being in two of the most influential grunge bands at that time. And then completely...
walking away from it. Yeah,
walking away and going and doing something completely different. Yeah,
not only walking away though, isn't it? Like sort of grunge and punk music is sort of a defiance against authority.
Yeah.
And then joining the army and fighting for the authority. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
it's a weird one.
Hell of a jump.
I mean, he got kicked out of both bands, so I don't know what that says about him. But yeah, he paid.
But
for
he
that
hasn't been
record,
kicked out of the army, and that's what counts.
Yeah, but he paid for that record. So if he hadn't have paid for it, there would be no.
Where would we
no
be?
blue. Yeah.
But it's really weird. I mean, the internet is a strange place, isn't it? So we had this conversation. You sent me your list a few weeks ago, and obviously aware of Nirvana, very aware of Nirvana, aware of Bleach, and then all of a sudden I see. So we communicated through Instagram, but on another platform, I started seeing posts about how Bleach was the most underrated grunge album of the night. You know, I think it was early. That was very early 90s, late 80s, wasn't it? Bleach.
Late 80s, yeah, 89, I think.
It was 89, I think. Yeah. 1989. And I was like, how weird is that nobody's ever spoken about it until we had that little. You sent me that list, and I'd not even thought about it for a while, and then all of a sudden it just starts popping up everywhere. It's just mad. But anyway,
yeah, it is. That's not a bad thing. When that album pops up, give it a listen. You know.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but
not the universe. It's called algorithms, isn't it?
Well, but I didn't search it, and it was a different platform as well. You know, not even the same family. So
I mean, that's the degree to which.
One.
Yeah, that's the degree to which your data is being harvested, though, isn't it? But
well, potentially, yeah.
One time the algorithm does good, you know.
Maybe. Moving on to your second song, "Push" by Moist.
Yeah. Do you know it?
I don't. I'm not familiar with Moist, to be fair.
Okay.
Don't keep saying the word. People hate that word.
And you know something. Two words I love saying all the time because I know it upsets people: moist and girth. Fantastic words.
Yeah, that's my third song. Is I'll speak to it briefly then. So again, I mean, I owe my sister this one as well because she was obsessed with Moist. They're like a Canadian rock band, and they were just super cool looking. The guitarist just had all the poses and had great long hair, and I was just like, when I grow up, I'd love to be like this guy, you know, like the guitarist in Moist. And yeah, it was just on all the time growing up, you know. So yeah, it's one of them songs that just takes me back to being a real kid, because I mean that came out in the early 90s, so I would have been, you know,
94, I think.
Yeah, or 8 then, yeah. But just it was one of them songs that always just stays with me.
Yeah, cool. I will give it a listen.
What's the band called again, Michael?
Sorry?
What's the band called again?
iC1s, mate. Oh, Moist, that one. Moist.
Okay, nice.
Moist.
The band Moist. The song is Push. I'll definitely give that. The one thing I do like about doing this podcast is people do bring stuff to me I've never heard, and then you go away because you get to a point. Apparently, there's a scientific reason you get to a point in life where you stop seeking out new music.
Right.
Okay. It's something in your brain, and you kind of just stick with a seminal kind, whatever was your thing at a certain time.
Yeah.
So, but I am keen to listen to new stuff. So when people bring me, I go away and research it and have a listen.
Yeah, I mean they were pretty big. I think they had a few number ones in America. I don't know how big they were here.
In probably '96, my daughter was born, and I've got a real blind spot of music in that time. You know, it was quite odd. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
Sure.
Your third choice, don't need to research this. Absolute banger of a song. She Sells Sanctuary.
Amazing. Right?
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. It doesn't stop, start to finish. It's just brilliant. I think that, whether or not the band realise it, the tone, the guitar tone on that album, or on that track, I think about that all the time when I'm demoing stuff at home. That lead sound.
Yeah.
I try and get the my settings on my setup here as close to that sound as possible. It's just really anthemic and so catchy. And also when it comes on in like a club, not that I go to clubs anymore, but when I was younger, it would come on. Everyone's dancing to it, even if they don't know it. It's just got that drive-in drums the whole way through. And I think there's some crossover with iC1s. If you listen to like Armada and stuff like that, it's got that same drive-in drum beat.
Yes.
There's not a direct link. I don't think Andy put the drums down based on that at all. But there's something about that which is quite similar. Yeah, love it. It just doesn't give up the whole way through. It just bangs the whole way.
I loved that song when it came out. Really, really loved it. And then fell in love with it again in 2000 when they put it on the soundtrack of my favourite movie, Layer Cake.
Layer Cake, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those never skip songs. It never gets old. It just aged so well. And you've probably seen on my socials. I do my 365 challenge where we come with different themes every day, and it was my choice for best intro.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, because just the intro into that, the whole song is it's
brilliant.
Fantastic.
Do you know what? It's such a good song. It was actually on an advert recently. I can't remember what it was. And when it was playing, I actually thought, oh no, this means other people are going to hear it. It's one of them songs that you want to keep for yourself.
It's a gatekeep song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, now people are going to listen to the Cult. I don't want them to.
But it gets turned up every time it comes on. It's
it
just, it's a bang.
Your favourite film is Layer Cake?
Absolutely, mate, yeah.
I remember enjoying it. I never think it would be anyone's favourite film, though. Maybe I should revisit that.
To be fair, like songs, my favourite movie kind of moves around. But all of my favourite movies have got the same thing in common. They've got banging soundtracks. So the Layer Cake was one, and I remember buying Layer Cake on DVD in HMV. And they used to do that thing at the counter where they say you buy that and you get this for 99p or whatever. They flogged me another DVD, The Business.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, and that's a banging film as well. And the soundtrack, 80s soundtrack, Flock of Seagulls and Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's just absolutely. And I watched the pair of them back to back, and it's all about the music. The stories are good, but the music's even better.
Yeah, for sure.
And my daughter, she's just turned 30, she loves The Business. It's her favourite movie, but she knows all the songs, and it's the songs that do it for her. It's yeah. So I like to think I've done something right there. She says the music, so sticking to that. Brilliant. Number 4, again another great song. You Ought to Know, Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, it was always on. She was always on MTV growing up, and I think she might be the first woman that I loved. To be honest with you, I was obsessed with her.
Fair play.
She was just so, and even to this day, I was watching. Have you seen the movie Dogma?
Yes.
It's a Kevin Smith movie. I was watching that the other night, even though I've seen it 10,000 times. I thought I'd watch it again for some reason, and it's almost worth watching the entire movie. Which is otherwise a good movie, but it's worth waiting for Alanis Morissette just to pop up in the last 10 minutes as she does, because she's just the coolest. But yeah, that song. Again, you talk about songs that you turn up if you hear them, for sure. And I think that's got Dave Navarro playing guitar on it. It's got Flea playing bass. I can't remember if it was Taylor Hawkins. I think it's Taylor Hawkins playing drums. but that was like an all-star band to put that track together. Because she was signed to a major. So yeah, it was Dave Navarro from the Chili's and Flea, and I think it was Taylor Hawkins, but he was definitely in her band at that time anyway.
Did they play on the whole of Jagged Little Pill?
I think so.
Yeah, I was going to say that whole album was really...
It was massive, weren't it? That album?
Yeah. I still remember the cover, like just the CD in the front room, like, you know, just it would always stay with me, that. And she's just a babe. I watched her, was it Glastonbury last year?
Yeah.
I watched the whole set and was just perving over her for the entire. She's just, I'd marry her. If she wanted to get married, not a problem. You know.
Nothing wrong with your tasting women either, mate. That's good to know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think she does watch this podcast actually, so
she does.
She keep your hopes up.
Comments and she comments and everything.
Keep your hopes up, mate.
I will. Keep trying, man.
You never know. Okay. And your last one on your list, Self-Esteem by The Offspring.
Yeah. I mean, Dan will vouch for this. I've definitely got more of an American musical persuasion. So I think everything I've listed is American, isn't it? Apart from...
That's my set's Canadian, isn't it?
American and Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, North American, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got really into like punk, like American punk, as it were. Important to make the distinction, right? And The Offspring. In fact, The Offspring were the first band I ever saw. I don't know how cool it is to say that out loud, but they were. I saw them at Wembley in 2000, Wembley Arena, and I just remember them again always being on TV growing up. Again, like all of these bands, they were just always on TV growing up. And I remember Dexter Holland did a performance of Self-Esteem completely naked on stage. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No.
I just couldn't imagine that happening now. He's completely naked and he's just jumping around on stage in front of 80,000 people. Absolutely bonkers. And I thought, who are these guys? Like, this is a bit strange. And again, my sister put me on to Offspring. And yeah, again, if it wasn't for Offspring, I probably wouldn't be playing guitar, you know, because some of those songs are, you know, pretty straightforward, 4-chord kind of pop punk stuff. So they were some of the earliest songs I learned, and Self-Esteem was one of them. So yeah, excellent. Great energy.
Some fantastic songs there, some really good choices, which obviously, you mentioned Armada, which has got a really cool lyric in it. I love that lyric. If loose lips sink ships, I'm taking down the whole Armada. I love that.
Nice one.
Brilliant. Who was that? You, Dan? Did you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
You taking
lyrics man mainly. Yeah. So the music gets shared around, but I think I'll take most of it. Yeah, I do the lyrics. So okay. I appreciate that. Nice one.
Yeah, it's one of those. You know, something just sticks with you, and you kind of get to the bridge, and you know what's coming next, and I really like that. So yeah, fantastic. So I'm trying to see this stuff. I've been listening to a lot of your stuff lately, and I'm trying to see this stuff in it.
Oh, you're the one, yeah? You're the one.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the one. I'm the one streaming every day, man. So, 2010 to 2014, is that right? First time out?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And you decided to give it a rest in 2014?
That's a nice way of putting it, I suppose. But I think we broke up rock and roll type thing. We made some bad decisions, I think, management-wise.
Okay.
And then after a while, kind of, one person left and then another person left, and then before you know, it's just me and Jesse sat at the table going, well, what are we going to do now, type thing.
Okay.
And then it just kind of, we started another little band, which I always refer to as kind of like, no disrespect to the people that were in the band, kind of like the breakup girl, like the rebound that you have after a breakup type thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of didn't last that long. And then, then it just became a period of time where there was no contact at all. And then I was playing just like an acoustic show, I think in Barrington. And Jesse was there. Jesse turned up basically. I was played a couple of old iC1s tunes, and from then we got chatting after the show. And I think it was in my head, it was the next day he kind of rang and said, like, do you want to get back together again? He'd already got Jacob on board, and he knew I was 100% in anyway. Jesse, your perspective?
Yeah, I think in terms of the breakup, we had kind of gone from playing like our local venue to we signed to Gary Powell's label from the Libertines, and we started doing stuff and started picking up a following and doing all the things that bands are of that level are really fortunate to do. So we were kind of on this upward trajectory, and we went through a few different managers and they didn't really work out, and then we got with this one particular guy. I'm not going to go into it too much, but he was part of the reason why the band kind of fell apart. There was a lot of game playing happening, playing members off of each other, and
a lot of lies, man.
Yeah, a lot of lies about what he was doing for us behind the scenes, and it created a lot of tension in the band. And I think but that trajectory that we were on was in of itself creating a lot of tension, because we were trying to break all the time, and everyone kept telling us that we would. Even if you've got people like Alan McGee telling you that you're the next Oasis or you're this and you're that, that creates a lot of expectation, I think. So we were trying to kind of get, make it happen, and it just quite wasn't quite getting there, and then it kind of all came to a head and sort of exploded, and John left, and then Andy left shortly after. We went through like a Spinal Tap level kind of amount of bassists. Didn't even bother to learn some of their names because they would be gone. So it kind of reached its conclusion, I think, at that point. And then to Dan's point, we had the breakup band after that. Released a couple of good tracks and played Isle of Wight and did some cool stuff, but it wasn't the same as the other band, and I had decided I needed to break from all of it. So I quit, and we kind of just drifted and didn't speak to each other for a long time, pretty much
Lovely.
10 years. I mean, yeah, it's great. I missed that time. But yeah, didn't talk for a long time, which was weird because before that, me and Dan were like thick as thieves, but it just just drifted apart and didn't chat, and
we needed the time apart, really, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. The other boys went and had kids and got married and did stuff, and then to Dan's point, I went and saw him in a pub play, and I remember thinking, I think you were playing Levitate, Dan, and I remember thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, man, because I hadn't heard him sing in so long, right? I was like, shit, his voice is really good, man. It's such a shame that we're not in a fucking band, And I remember going home, got into bed, and my girlfriend was asleep, and we woke up in the morning, she was like, you alright, how was last night? And I was like, it was a fucking disaster. She's like, why? I was like, well, I'm gonna have to put the band back together. And she was like, that's a good thing, right? And I was like, no, that's not a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Here we go again. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So at the time I was sort of fighting it, but to Dan's point, I went and got Jacob and actually did put it back together. And then I'd been working on music, sent it to Dan, and Dan was quickly sending all of the lyrics and melodies back, and it was just obvious that we were going to do it, so it sort of happened organically.
Basically, with Jacob on board, we didn't know how the others were going to feel about it, John and Andy, so we had to get Jacob to speak to Andy. And then, so I think they were meeting a couple of weeks later to watch the boxing, so he said he was going to do it then. So we spoke to Andy, and Andy was in, and then we needed to use Andy to get to John. So then we got Andy to speak to John. And we didn't know if there was going to be any issues, but everyone was just straight away in, which tells me that during that time, everyone was the same as me and partly missed it every day, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, it's also worth saying though, 5 years before that, so at the end of 2019, we met up in a pub, and we were talking about maybe doing one reunion show just for fun. We had the conversation that day, we went out on the piss, we had a great time, and then the pandemic happened. So it's almost like the notion that iC1s were going to get back together sort of caused the end of the world. So we sort of took that as a sign that maybe it wasn't to be. So I remember saying to Dan at the time, "I'll give it another 5 years," you know, and we did.
I don't think I
Yeah,
was happy at the time. Fucking pandemic.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
But
good.
it's all worked out in the way it has, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that the title of the album, "What Took You So Long," is that? Did
After
that
the
come
story
from?
we just told you, it's self-explanatory now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It all makes sense now. Absolutely,
Mm.
yeah. I mean,
And Andy came up with that title actually. So give him a shout
Mm.
out to that.
I kind of had in my head that that's where it was. So yeah, but you mentioned Levitate, and I said to you before, I kind of listened to a lot of your stuff, and I think you do something. You try and place a band, so if you're telling someone else about them, it's either a bit like them or they're a bit like and um, the opening bars to Levitate, I get Union City Blue by Blondie.
We've had that.
Shut up, Michael.
I,
Fuck's sake.
but that that is the only that's the only time I can place something.
But isn't it actually Dreaming by
I think it might be
Blondie?
dreaming. I think it's dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be right. They are very similar openings. You could
Mm.
be
I
right.
shouldn't even be saying that. It's nothing like it.
No,
I
it's
don't,
no,
never
I'm
heard
not
that
saying
song
nothing
before.
is. It's
Mm.
kind of it just reminds me, puts me in the mind of it.
No, it is. It is very
Um,
it is
but
that.
I am very fond of Levitate. Oddly enough, I think it's a really really good song. Um,
One of my favourites.
um, Growing Up, Going Down, absolute banger. My choice today for my
I saw
theme
that.
as well. Really really good. But I think at the moment, and I need to ask you about this. You need to tell me about the story about this one. Whack Jack.
Mm.
Absolutely
Ah,
love it.
yeah, it's a fan favourite. I'm not going to lie. We're kind of bored of that song. I'm
You're
honest with
bored
you,
of
but it's like it's the one that you overplay type thing. We think we've had about 5 different recordings of the song as well, and
Okay.
the one that's on the album now is the best one.
Mm.
But no matter how bored you are of the song, when you play it at the end of your set and everyone's just fucking going crazy and they storm the stage and whatever, but you kind of love the song then. It's about a stalker, Michael,
Yeah,
and
I
there's
was going to say because I kind of listen to the lyrics and I'm kind of getting. Is this a love song?
yeah, love
Is this
stalking,
kind of love song?
absolutely love stalking. No, it was I wrote it with my brother-in-law. It's his lyrics really. He had like he just had it written down on a piece of paper, and he wanted to turn it into a song. And I mean I read it, and can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, my headphones have gone funny. And so I read the lyrics and I just thought it's fucking brilliant. So I was sat there trying to play different versions of the song, and he's saying that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And then I just went, oh, what? Would you want something like, dun, 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 oh, won't you listen to this? I was taking the piss a little bit, and he was like, yeah, that's it. And then it's kind of like a light to dark. It sounds like in the verse, say it's a love song, but when
yeah,
it hits into the chorus, that's when you know it's kind of like a one-way type of love. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I'm a little bit whack jack, a little bit mental.
A
Mm.
little bit cuckoo, but experimental. Yeah, yeah, it's a good song. It is a good song. It's very popular, I'd say. Are you going to come and see us play in February, Michael?
In London, I'm a long way from London, and
I can
that
tell by the way you talk.
so it's like you tell by the way I use my walk.
Not yet.
But yeah, because that was my when are you coming this far north? Because I mean I'm at nearly 150 mile north of Manchester, mate.
Oh, really?
Whereabouts are you?
So I'm very close to Carlisle. Is my closest city.
Oh, that is about as far north as you can go, isn't it?
Well,
You go-
we're literally on the border.
Yeah.
We just shy of the border for Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
But
is.
it will be my absolute intention to see you live at some point. I do think the O2 Academy is probably a little bit beyond me at the moment. Well, I'm not saying beyond me, but
You start walking now, Michael. You might make it by
I
February.
might make it. Yeah. But no, I
I can
absolutely.
tell by the way you walk, isn't it?
I would absolutely love to see you live because I'm enjoying you via my
We do have a bit of a following in the northeast, to be fair. So
Yeah, I mean,
we
to be
are,
fair, all of our the big gigs in this area tend to be Newcastle as well. So
yeah. We
tends
played
to be
Newcastle before. We've also played Stockton Calling, and we played in
okay. Yeah,
Middlesbrough before as well.
Yeah.
So we have been up there. It's always good.
Hmm.
24-hour Greg's. How can you fucking moan?
absolutely,
Superb.
absolutely.
That's me trying to get a little sponsorship there.
From Greg's,
Yeah.
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 Hey, sell it, man, sell it. So, what I normally do when I put the kind of the description together for the podcast, when I put the episodes out, I always build playlists. I do Spotify and Apple, and I put links to the playlists with all your songs on. But on yours, I'm going to put my favourite songs of yours on.
Cool.
I'm going to ask you, give me 3 songs of iC1s that everyone should absolutely listen to.
I can
Just
go.
3. Well, we're going to have to say the latest 2 that are going to be on the new album. So that would be Out of Reach
Yeah,
and what's the other one called, Jeff?
That was there.
That was then. That was
that
then.
was then. Yeah.
Mm.
And then Jess, I'll allow you to pick the final one, mate.
I mean, for me, it'd be Growing Up, Going Down.
Which is one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already on there, mate, so you can have another one.
I mean, for
And
me,
I take it you've got Levitate and Whackjack on there as well, is it?
I've got Levitate, Going Up, Going Down. That was them, interestingly. So you can have
does
2
that mean
more.
we get another 2? Okay.
And
Yeah.
Whackjack. Definitely going on there for me.
I'll put Beautiful Ugly on there,
Nice.
which shows our more sentimental side, but is still quite heavy in places. I don't know, I'm trying to remember our songs now.
Trying to think of the least listened to so people will boost those songs.
Here's the numbers up, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Not Perfect. It's a song that sort of
Yeah.
typifies us, although it's not that popular on Spotify, which I was quite surprised by.
And The Glue. The Glue's one of the best tracks as well, and that's good.
We're just going to end up listening to the whole album. We're just gonna have
I was
to
going
put
to
the
say, I'll
whole
tell you
album
what,
on,
fuck it, I'll just put the whole album on.
Just put it on.
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
don't know why you didn't start with Michael, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, we'll do that. I will put the whole album on the playlist so people can listen to they can listen to your song choices, because obviously there's some bangers in there that they need to listen to, but they can listen to your stuff as well.
Wicked.
And I am pushing you, as you'll see from my socials. I'm liking and sharing and promoting you.
Your favourite band at the moment?
Absolutely.
As you say.
Listen, my last favourite band is still my favourite band, Def Leppard. I've been a Def Leppard fan. My first gig was a Def Leppard gig, 1988. I've never missed a UK tour since. I've not had a favourite band since, mate, till now. So there you go.
Okay, so we'll
Wow,
see you
what
in
an
London
honour.
in February then.
We'll see you in London, mate. Sure. Put you on the guest list. How about that?
Yeah,
Yeah, put me on the get list. VIP access all areas.
no worries. mate.
Backstage passes.
Don't it?
No worries.
Brilliant, guys. It's been amazing talking to you. I'm really pleased I got the chance to talk to you eventually.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And if you want to come back and do a Beatles special, we'll do that in the future.
Yes,
If
100%.
you want to come back and talk about new stuff that you're doing, come back and talk to us.
Well, I've got a new album in the pipeline, so yeah, definitely we'll come up
Yeah.
and talk about
that
that one.
would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, start recording in July. So yeah, let's do something in the summer. That'd be great.
And just to clarify, it's the 27th of February 2027 at the O2 Academy in Islington. Yeah, if anyone wants to come and see us. Those tickets are on sale now. So.
Excellent. And have you got nothing else before then? No.
Yeah, we've got
Nothing
Jesse.
Yeah, nothing confirmed though yet. Nothing we've announced yet. But yeah, we're working on some bits and pieces in the background. So there'll be some shows.
Is that all London centric or?
No, and around the UK. But yeah, still haven't finalised it yet. And that's kind of like, you know, what I said at the beginning before Dan joined. We hadn't really planned for any of this. This was purely, let's get back together and do a 10-year show. And then the conversation was, okay, let's do an album. And then it was like, okay, let's go on, you know, we supported In Spirals and the Rifles, and, you know, it's kind of, it's taken us all by surprise. So we're having to start thinking, okay, well, how are we gonna do this? So we're sort of playing it all by ear. But yeah, there'll be some announcements pretty soon, I think, about some shows in the UK.
Fantastic. Well, keep in touch and keep you posted what's going on, guys.
For sure.
Thanks,
Nice
mate. Nice one.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Appreciate
Take care.
it.